Hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Nina Jackson and this is my Access to Veterinary Care final for Honors 192 2025. What are some things that have created disadvantages for people with service animals and wheelchairs? I've noticed, especially in public spaces, how people try to modify the environment to help benefit people with wheelchairs. Oftentimes, though, they miss some of the important factors that impact whether those modifications are actually helpful. Most of the time, this is monitored by the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. There are specific regulations in place that prevent buildings from having architectural barriers, which prevent people with disabilities from being able to access the building. Now, you may be wondering, what are architectural barriers exactly? According to the U.S. Department of Justice and Civil Rights Division, architectural barriers are designs in buildings that prevent or impair people's access to specific parts or all of the building. For example, buildings that require stairs to enter would create an architectural barrier for people with physical disabilities, such as being in a wheelchair, and prevent them from being able to get inside the building. Following that, what are service animals? Because that's what this video is about. Service animals are dogs or miniature horses that are trained to complete a task that helps someone with a disability. It is stated by the ADA that service animals are also allowed to go anywhere their handler is as long as that animal is harnessed. The facility is not allowed to make a service animal and the handler leave unless the animal is not housebroken, is unable to be controlled effectively, or in the case of a miniature horse, the facility does not have the capacity to withstand the weight of the horse without damaging the safety and functioning of the facility. In this video, I will be discussing what some of these factors in public spaces are and how the presence of these factors can impact people with service animals, in particular, people with wheelchairs and service dogs. To observe this, I went to the Laurie Student Center at Colorado State University. While I was there, I took note of how welcome the structure of the building was to people with wheelchairs and service animals, as well as how welcome the social environment was. Colorado State University has requirements that are similar to the ADA, but do include some additional restrictions on what places service animals and emotional support animals are allowed to go. Service animals are allowed to go anywhere their owner is unless it is unsafe for that animal, such as in a lab, or that facility's procedures, such as a food pantry where the dog might contaminate the food. Emotional support animals, on the other hand, are not allowed to go in any public spaces on campus other than the handler's location of residency. Both are also allowed to be asked to leave any location if the animal is out of control and unable to be controlled by the handler. The Laurie Student Center, abbreviated LSC, has a lot of things that I noticed were both very welcoming to people with wheelchairs as well as not. One of the things that I noticed that was beneficial for people with wheelchairs and service dogs was that there were a lot of elevators in the building, even more than the number of stairs. This is very helpful with someone with a wheelchair because obviously they cannot use the stairs, and it is also easier for people with service animals or other physical disabilities to go up or down floors, as it might be hard to get a dog to go up the stairs at times. Also, all of the bathrooms and doors have wheelchair actuators, which are the automatic door openers. This is helpful for people with wheelchairs, as it would be hard for them to open doors and go through them at the same time. For people with service dogs, this would be helpful as they do not have to open the door for both them and their dog. There is also a bridge connecting the engineering building to the LSC, which is very helpful because in order to access the engineering building without it, you have to go all the way around the LSC or go up several flights of stairs, which would be hard for someone with a disability. This provides an easy and accessible way to enter the engineering building. As helpful as all of these things are, there are still some flaws that I saw in the structure of the building. For instance, some of the bathrooms that had outdoors had very narrow hallways with tight turns in order to access the doors, which would be hard for people with a service dog or a wheelchair to maneuver in. Some of the elevators also had this issue, which started to defeat the point of being accessible to people with wheelchairs and service dogs. Additionally, there is a big open space right outside the LSC that would be good for service dogs to relieve themselves. Unfortunately, there are no dog waste bags located in the area to help with that. this creates another barrier for people with service dogs. In addition to looking at the physical aspects of the building, I also noted the social environment of the building. I saw a couple of people there with service animals that did not seem to be bothered, and people treating them like they would any other person, which I saw as a good sign. I also saw someone in a wheelchair there who did not seem to be bothered at all by any other people. I did not get the chance to talk to any of them, but they all seemed very content in that environment. This demonstrates that CSU has been following their policy and allowing the individuals with service animals to continue with their normal routine without interference. Overall, there have been a number of places that have been changed to be inclusive towards people with wheelchairs and service dogs, but there are still some tweaks that need to be adjusted in order to make things practical for the people in need. The first thing that needs to happen in order for this to occur is make the public aware so change can be done. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.